Hello everyone! This is the second qualifying round of Retro Touhou Festival 3. Today's feature is Spot Lunatic Survival, not Lunatic Survival, Lunatic Scoring even, between Couscous and Yumemi Okazaki. Yes, Yumemi Okazaki herself. Both credits are async, and today your commentators are KC and Pigeon, just like last time. Take it away.
Hello. So, Pigeon, do you want to do the honors this time?
Yeah, I guess since this time I will not be playing this category during the real match. So this will be Lunatic. PODD Lunatic is a handful more complicated and difficult compared to her, and a high step above compared to any other game in the franchise. A lot is going on. Many more bullets, much faster, and much longer timer to survive against each enemies. And despite this, Couscous and Yumemi will have to go crazy to get those really high number up. And the gameplay will pretty much change a fair bit compared to hard because of difficulty. This is a very intense match and also very difficult to even clear. Thankfully, sometimes it is not too impactful, as long as the early game can be very nice. But depending on the characters, sometimes the rounds can be short-lived. So, for a couple of reasons. But this will depend on which shot we will get to see today. Especially if we have currently with Mima and Yumemi as showcased, there will be a bit of difference there for how the survival will work as well as the scoring. And Casey, who is the expert master of a category for quite some time as well, is there with me to journey.
Yeah, I don't really play Lunatic that much anymore, but I do have a lot of experience, and I will also be playing during the real match that one of these two players are going to be playing in as well, since this is the qualifiers. But yeah, Lunatic is, for the most part, it's going to be very similar to hard. It's just going to be a lot faster, a lot more fast-paced, longer timers. And once again, we want to be looking for the spell points. We want to be seeing a lot of chain reactions, maximize those to maximize the spell points and the summons, which contribute to a clear bonus. We want to be looking out for that a lot. That's the number right under the hit counter that you will be seeing a fair bit. And Yumemi is going to have a harder time probably getting some really good runs going, because she is a lot more luck based than Mima, but the entire game is very luck based, so we'll see what happens. Alright, so I'm gonna assume that both players are going to be starting right after, their start of their recording here. I guess we went a little bit ahead already, so yeah, Couscous. Alright, here we go. So yeah, Couscous is playing Mima, and Yumemi Okazaki is playing the character with the exact same name. That is his main, and the same with Couscous. Couscous primarily plays Mima. His PB actually improved recently. I don't know if that is from the qualifiers. We will have to see. I think it was happened afterwards, I think, but I don't quite remember when these runs were played. So yeah, I think in general, Yumemi is going to have shorter credits since she's a broken shot, and that basically means that the AI is going to get hit by her stuff more easily, mainly her EX attack.
And the level 2 that she sends is also extremely strong as well, spawning instantly circles above the screen they can spread out throughout the whole screen on the side. And along the way, she also sends a powerful level 1 that can cancel pretty much anything, and can be used as a support shot to get the cancel on the columns of spirits immediately, just like we can see there.
It's delayed by Yumami there, delaying the charge attack to catch those fireballs. There's a lot of that in on Lunatic actually, where you're delaying killing enemy formation just so you can catch fireballs. And in general, everything does go faster, so it is easier to catch things in explosions by delaying killing the formations. Also, does a very good clear bonus. With Yumami, it's very easy to get low clear bonuses because the AI can just not cooperate and die early, and when rounds last a shorter time, that is just less scoring opportunity. You just ideally want every round to last as long as possible, or at least as long as their programmed timers allow them to survive.
Yeah, thankfully we had
so on Lunatic, it already starts off at like 1 minute 40 on stage 1. So it's very long.
Oh yeah, it will be mostly Cusco's that will have to survive through most of his rounds at full length, usually. Only popping up a hyper there for safety. Even though we are only around, it should not be able to take a max hit combo by the turn, getting instantly to last HP. He's also making good use of the level 1 that does spread out a lot. It's useful when you have a boss advantage because Mima does have 2 strong attacks sending cancelable bullets. But you can use the level 1 as support shot, also piercing as well, to just immediately cancel again those fireballs. Unlike Yumami, that level 1 does spread out everywhere, so it is able to also both take out columns of flames or spread waves of flames as well, depending on which spawn you are getting as well.
Oh, it is also worth mentioning the base scores that both characters here have, which would give you the maximum amount of points. With Yumami, it's 118 million. And with Mima, it's going to be 140. Mima is one of the highest scoring characters in this game. Yumami is one of the lesser scoring ones, but not quite the lowest because her level 2 is actually quite good. But you do need to time it fairly well because it's a short-lasting pattern, and so if you have to time it right in order for the AI to actually catch those pellet bullets with enemy explosions. And in general, what you want to do is trigger your level 2 right before you see the AI kill whatever formation is on screen at that time, so that when it gets fired, the next formation will be on screen, and you're hoping that the AI will, reflect as many of those bullets as, as possible.
One of the things that can also affect how well the fight goes is the boss advantage. So in Yumami's case, Yumami does not have the boss on the other side, which would be a little bit more useful with Kotorime, because Kotorime doesn't send a whole lot of cancelable bullets. But it's also a double-edged sword because of the cross attack that the Yumi boss can spawn in. You would want to have the cloud bullet of death to get the best outcome in this, but it's a one in like 5 chance or something. With how many attacks she has. Mima, though, you can have freely access to getting the advantage on the boss advantage on your end. She does have 2 strong attack, and with the piercing, again, you can instantly cancel if needed for safety. And sometimes, depending on the case, you would want to either have the advantage on your side or on the other side to maximize the outcome.
So we saw earlier there that Yumimi is resetting by like turning the whole game off actually, and the reason for that is that he's actually using RNG manipulation to select Yumimi on for this next credit on the first possible frame, and that basically allows the stage order to be certain, because the stage order is determined the moment that you start the new credit. So whatever stage 1 you get up until stage 6 is already determined in advance, and the stage 1 enemy formations will also be determined by that point. But it's mainly about the opponents that you get, and in stage 1 he was getting Reimu, who is not that great of a scoring character and also is hard to survive. So getting her early and early out of the way is definitely good here.
Yeah, because despite her being able to send a lot of things, you need to be lucky for her to send like a level 2 as well. The most ideal case you would want for your own safety is that like in the very first credit attempt there was, you get the hyper working for her, because the hypers does have piercing shots, and those are very, very, very strong for high cancers as well.
So Yumimi is going to actually get some pretty bad opponents in the later game, however, because it's Kana and Ellen who are two of the characters that die the fastest because they have slow move speed, and that really hurts their ability to survive, because the main way that they survive is basically by sidestepping bullets at the last possible moment. And when you move slower, you're also going to be, moving less units per frame. So it becomes more likely that they will actually dodge things too late. So they will be forced to either bomb, or if they have a hyper available, they will hyper if they weren't already supposed to get hit by that point. But you still don't see hypers very often. It would be really good if you see them though, because it's 10 seconds. You're going to be certain that the AI survives. Of course, on the other hand, if you are on your last hit, you might not want that. You might actually want the round to just end as soon as possible. Also, Kuskus died on Mima mirror match. It is stage 4. That's not really good, but he might still want to just continue it anyway. I think if he loses a life here again, he might reset, because dying twice in the early game is not really acceptable.
Yeah. And Mima is okay, since there's a high chance you can get a strong clear bonus at the end of the stage. Although it seems that Kuskus is a bit focusing too much on the level 1, which is both good and bad thing in this case, because it does cancel the possibility to get high SP there.
You generally want to use level 1s when there's like a lot of stuff on screen to just get it out of the way, and also it sometimes helps you reflecting a bunch of bullets and fireballs that are on the screen. So Mima's really good for that, to like quickly get rid of a bunch of like bullets and fireballs just like that.
Yeah, and in this case you also spread out the hit counter as well, which would reduce the maximization chance of a SP in the end. Looks like that Yumimi is doing a little bit more progress, ending. I think it's on Yumi is on stage 3 now, finally getting a bit out of the early game there.
Yeah, unlike on the hard or lower difficulties, the early game in this game on Lunatic is actually very difficult. If you're starting out scoring this game, you're probably going to be resetting on stage 1 a lot, because the game expects a lot from you right from the beginning. This is also because everything moves fast right from the start. It's not quite the maximum in terms of everything, how everything moves, and like how quickly things get reflected and stuff, or like how many fireballs get spawned, etc. Which is all determined by round speed. But on Lunatic, it's close to the maximum, and it does go up over time. And I think it takes only like 20 to 30 seconds for the value to be maxed out on Lunatic on any given round. So.
Also worth mentioning that originally in the PC98 hardware the games are a little bit slower, since now we are running at 60 FPS, but it's in reality more like 57, 58, so a little bit slower to survive through usually.
The rank is also way higher on Lunatic. The spell rank stays the same because it's just the equivalent of the stage number basically, but the boss rank starts very high. I think it already starts at 9 in stage 1, and once you reach stage 7 or 8, I believe, it will already be at 16, which is the highest value. So at that point, bosses are at their most difficult. And even with a lot of the things that you summon on Lunatic, because of how fast everything goes, you reach max boss rank fairly quickly, even in the early game.
Yeah. And when you die, like Couscous had happened before, that rank is not getting reset. You keep the rank you had in the last stage, as well as the stage rank too. So even in survival, this dying even once just makes things a whole lot more difficult to clear out sometimes, depending on the opponent.
Yeah, I believe the boss rank is slightly higher than the original value when you do a new round, so... And when you... And the spell rank, I believe, doesn't change at all, so... Whenever you're starting a new round, you are going to have slightly more intensity, but it's not quite as big of a difference compared to hard difficulty or lower. Yeah,
usually, even by the end of round 1, the spell rank is like pretty much maxed out at that point. There's so much going on, so much back and forth, usually when you do scoring, that the maximization of the rank is done fairly quick.
I can see on Yumemi's screen the rank is only 8, but the round has already been going for some time. So this is probably not going to be a great scoring round if I had to guess. Yeah, the boss rank is already maxed out, but not a lot of spells.
Yeah, almost got it there.
Also, you can also see that Yumemi knew how to misdirect that Kotehime pattern, because the way the orbs move actually tells you how you need to dodge them. Like depending on the animation, it's going to be a different pattern. There's a lot of like small things in this game where you can predict what boss patterns are going to be coming out. But there's also some boss patterns that most bosses have that come out instantly, so kind of from the start you have to assume that attack comes out, so you can actually, be prepared for it. Like there are some instantaneous boss patterns that can really catch you off guard if you aren't ready for it. In particular, Yumemi's Death Cloud pattern, because it's extremely fast, dense, and extremely random. It's one of the most dangerous patterns in the game. Even with like the tricks that you could technically make use of to make it a little bit more manageable, it's still going to be fairly inconsistent.
Couscous facing Kana there, which is a pretty good opponent to have, I think, pretty much at any point. She's a very versatile when it comes to getting some cancelable bullet to spawn over its boss, or even the spells usually.
Kana is also a fairly easy opponent, so you can play fairly risky on her, because most of her attacks are pretty easy to dodge because it's all just bullets moving straight down.
It's mostly the wings, the big wing attack from the boss that is kind of dangerous. or just spawn some heavy wave at the bottom.
You want me to reset again? Not getting out of the early game quite as easily. But mainly because of survival mistakes. It is more common for it to be scoring related because the score varies so much with her.
Yeah,
and Couscous is also making use of the level 1 quite well here, catching those fireballs that he wasn't going to catch otherwise. I mean, if you're already charging, you might as well let go of the charge if you see something coming your way. If you were already planning on charging a level 2, that's also kind of something you have to keep in mind when you're planning to use a spell. Sometimes you need to get rid of it early, the charge, just so you can like catch something quickly. Especially if it makes a difference between you getting a reversal out or not. Because sometimes bosses can spawn on your screen without really any warning because they get triggered by spell points. In general, also, like the base spell points that you need to summon bosses is 51,200, and every boss that gets summoned after that without the boss being killed or leaving the screen, that number goes up by another 51,200. And if you get a boss panic, that will also increase it. So if you have a lot of those kinds of summons going on, you can actually make it very difficult to reverse the boss back to the other screen. Which for scoring is technically good, because, you know, more summons is always going to be better for score. That was a very high clear bonus from Couscous there. That was a very good Kana round.
6.8, yeah. We're also in a kind of a rate run as well, so it does up a lot. But now
it probably means that he had 13 mil on that round, by the way. I think, like, in general, the clear bonus is going to mirror the score that you had on that round, just directly. So his score is looking fairly good right now. It's he is missing 1 life though, so that can be a little bit concerning depending on what happens here. It can be fairly easy to kind of lose your composure and you know, get nervous with low resources. And bosses can also just wreck you really bad, just out of nowhere. Good level 1 from Yumimi there to catch those that big boss attack pattern from Mima there.
Yeah, well, Couscous is getting some very nice enemy pattern on his end.
Reimu's level 3 is very dangerous. Like, it's partly static and partly aimed, and there are certain parts of the screen where you can sit, so you can have like a good misdirection safe spot, so to speak. But if you can't make use of that, then you have to either sit still until everything is fired and then watch for the gaps and just stay there. But if you have a lot of other stuff coming your way, then you can't really do that. Also, sometimes you might want to not even misdirect if it's a level 2, because you're seeing enemy formations that allow you to reflect those bullets back anyway. So you would rather focus on reflecting those bullets than setting up a misdirect. That is true for some other patterns too, mainly Yumemi's level 2, since it's also an aimed pattern. There's a lot of these kinds of on-the-spot decisions you have to make.
Yeah, very often getting the hit there. One thing that is pretty bad with Mima for scoring is the hyper shot, which is very quick and automated, auto-fire. So if you want to get some combos, sometimes you just need to be a little away of one last life there, okay. Sometimes you need to go a little bit away to make sure that the combo is able to continue there. Seems like, okay, get a hyper again, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah, with Mima's hyper, you kind of need to like just stay out of the way of stuff to have it actually chain properly. Oh my god. I think this might be... Oh my god, he actually dodged that. That was really scary. That could have easily been a death right there.
Alright, now we need the clear, because that round was pretty nice as us. The clear bonus on this would be very, very good to have.
And he still has to survive.
So, not
Also,
quite
there
good
could be maybe a chance... Oh, no.
That's
Yeah, there could have been a chance also that Raymond could have gotten a full gauge and then hypered, even though she's supposed to die. That is still technically something that could happen, which would have been a bad thing in this case, because Kuskus was on one hit and had no defensive options beyond just, you know, your shots.
Yeah, he was half a gauge away to get back the full hyper again. Really unfortunate case. He is too stuck on early game currently. Yeah, but that was...
Yeah.
We can understand the choice of Yorubi to have Rainbow on very first round, because it is, as you can see, a very tough opponent for long rounds as well. Especially with that attack, with the in-game ball attack. 16-game ball with really tight wave to dodge through at very high rate. I think it might be still 5 in-game balls at the very start. Which is an extremely scary attack to have to go through.
Rainbow's pellet pattern that she can use is actually not really that great, because she actually moves downwards, so that means that if you're trying to hit enemies right on that like spawn points, so to speak, you won't be able to hit them because she's like blocking the enemies, so it can actually be very difficult to really make use of that pattern effectively. Also, I didn't mention, but Mima's level 1, her charge attack with his spread shot is actually very strong damage-wise, especially if you point blank it. So this is the kind of boss, Reimu is the kind of boss that you just kind of want to get rid of with a charge attack, because she doesn't really score that well if you just leave her on screen, and her attacks are pretty dangerous, especially if Reimu decides to use a level 3 at some points during the boss attack. It's a very deadly combo.
Currently on the seat, she's about to be, she's on full gauge, so potential for a hyper to dive through. Usually the AI in Lunatic will have it will be much more often go on the defensive. It's extremely rare that on SHP they will not go defensive and use gauge.
Kuskus is doing very well on this round. No hits taken yet, and this is almost certainly going to be a win. Yeah, there we go.
4 points for... Yeah, I think...
Survival-wise, went very well. Score-wise, maybe not so much, but Raymond is also a fairly annoying opponent to score against. And she is in stage 7, so you can't really get around it, because stage 7 is always going to be predetermined depending on the character you play.
Yeah, I think the first time if it had K, it could have been like 8 to 9 million. It was a very good one for scoring overall. And now with Chichi there, so we'll see if Kuskus will try to go for keeping some life out. We have Tumis in. Hopefully he doesn't beat us on the first round. Shiri is also kind of the scariest opponent. Like usually, like in these games, like the stage 8 boss is usually the real final boss in most cases, and you could say that's the case as well, because she spawns a lot of things, and it's also can introduce, because of this, a lot of complex mechanics in terms of how the boss management is done. So we did say that the first boss will spawn at very specific values, but whenever a boss is cancelled, the first spawn, if both opponents have higher than 51,200 build point, the first one who gets to continue their combo will get the advantage of the boss. and only after if the second one does continue its combo and has a higher advantage in terms of spell point number, they will be able to get to summon the boss in later. And so,
Just want to mention real quick that Kuska's streaming is being really good here. Like, he's moving very, very minimally, which he have to actually do to not get trapped by the EX attacks, these lasers. Like, these can pin you in so easily, but Kuska's is handling this very well with the streaming of Chiri's level 2 and freeze here.
also nice safe spot in the wiggly wave. Usually you do have to dodge left and right whenever that attacks arrive through the thankfully he got the guard spot for it. Oh, it's pretty hard to
Yeah, that ring is very fast. It's pretty easy to get hit there, especially with like the flash, the background flash that happens as well.
And the timer for this one is above 6 minutes. It's 6 minutes 20 for this one. So it is also battle of endurance, one you really don't want to miss out for a bit. And then so to finish off like the boss reversal deal, if both opponents are at max SP, whoever is continuing as well the combo will get an advantage. So sometimes when both opponents are at max SP, there can be quadruple, quintuple boss reversal that can happen for the next 1 second. This max SP counter stays in before the inevitable reset sets in. So it is, there is a very high probability that the end of the clear bonus for those rounds can go as high as 7, 8, even 10 million in the best cases that have been seen on Lunatic.
Yeah, Chiri's a very high-scoring character, both to play as and also to play against. She very commonly uses pellet patterns. And you also kind of want to assume that she's going to do that little spammy pattern there because it comes out really fast and it also produces a lot of pellets. So it's actually kind of good with Mima to preemptively use a charge attack, not even so much for the damage, but more so for the oh boy. Yeah, that was a really rough situation because there was an enemy formation that kind of pinned him to the left. So he couldn't do damage to Chiri either, so he was kind of in a really rough spot there. It's already hard enough to get rid of Chiri's boss just through raw damage because she has the highest amount of HP of all boss attacks, and she teleports randomly, so there's no... It's not predictable at all. Like, the only saving grace is that she stays put once she teleports. She doesn't move around.
Yeah, but timing will also depend on which attack is also used in, such that sometimes there are characters that are not able with a bomb and a level 1 to defeat the Chiri because of this, because of the damage loss from the warp. Because currently sitting in at 81 million, it's possible that he can finish the Chiri with 90 million at this point. And looks like that Yumemi is going around in stage 4, stage 5. It's clearly supposed to spawn again on on Couscous, but getting the cancel with the bomb. Thankfully the level 1 does a good job with damage as well, and because of the spread can counter the warping aspect of this on Chi-Chi.
Really unfortunate, Yumemi died to Kana. That's one of the easiest matchups to really deal with, so... But he's probably trying to really get a run out, so no resetting. Also for Couscous here, he's going to want this round to actually be won, because getting to Yumemi with no remaining lives is almost a death sentence to your run.
Getting that hyper there. 84 million is pretty generous, eh? Did not get the boss cancel at that point. Oh. Not on less HP. Really lucky there. Still another extra hit to survive in. Oh, nice. Okay, let's move on to...
Missed those fireballs, unfortunately.
Okay, still need to...
Because of how he missed that start attack. They zigzag.
Okay, nice.
That swirling pattern you want to zigzag in most circumstances.
No hyper ready for this.
Yeah, this is going to be a really rough situation for Couscous now. He can still clear, but it would be extremely difficult at this point. So most likely we're going to be seeing a 9, although how this is going, it might also be an 8. Having 2 hits happen this early is not good. If it was just 1 hit, it would have been okay, because the first hit, if you take the first hit very early, it will actually do less damage, to the point to where you can actually take 1 extra hit, but that second hit basically just made that a moot point, basically. So that was kind of unlucky on his part. It's very easy to get greedy with your hits.
Yeah, very nice catching off these spirits of guard there. Oh, meanwhile, you maybe did lose another round against Kara.
Nice safe spot there. He was just right in between a spot where the bullets swirl around, which is not something I would recommend doing, by the way, unless it's her starting position and then you move into the corner, because that is actually a consistent safe spot. But you would have to also be ready for it if if you're having it in your mind to like right now Couscous could technically go into the corner, because she always starts from the same position when the boss spawns in. But yeah, he probably needs to play full survival now if he wants to win this round. I believe round 3 is around 420, I think. Or I think it was 330 actually. So it's still fairly long.
Nice cancel.
Like these timers are going to be long no matter what for the late game.
At the very least, Couscous, Mima has less restricted recovery time after using a level 1, so he can chain the bombs pretty quickly, but it's not a zero frame delay before being able to use it. So I guess he's trying to be very careful on his actions there. Might have to use hyper there because of those flames. So we'll see. Hopefully, during this on that one. I guess the best is.
Okay, he was lucky with reflection there. If you didn't get rid of that boss right there, then it would have been a very bad situation potentially. It's always kind of scary if you have boss reflections happening, where they just get volleyballed back and forth really quickly.
Okay, that's a clear.
Especially in a situation like this, where you're on your last hit. Alright, so at least 98 mil for Couscous here on the first attempt here.
95. Almost 95.
Yeah, at least 95.
Hopefully we can get to 100 by the end of this.
Yeah, it's actually fairly common to see 100 mil runs that game over. There's also still quite a number of players whose best score is a game over. That's like 100 mil or like 110.
Yeah.
So you can score fairly high even without clearing. It would already, I would say it's already like just above average if Couscous gets 100 mil with a game over here.
Yeah, I did send Couscous a little challenge where if he cleared with 100 skill or got 100 million, whether it's a clear or not, I would have to do at least 1 credit scoring on Lunatic.
Couscous should have probably gone to the left corner there when Yumami was doing her cross attack, because he had a lot more room there, but instead he went to the right and was forced to bomb.
Okay, it was a very nice
Whenever that cross attack happens, you also kind of have to consider, what path are you going to take. You kind of have to think this out in advance.
We just got another reset of.
Oh, that was
UAV.
okay. Because is not handling this cross attack that well at the moment. Because he was too low on the screen, so those crosses could still reach him from below potentially. If he, because he was going in a circle.
Okay, nice dodging there. Ooh, that was pretty close.
a little bit scary. Okay, that was a very good reflection from that death cloud that allowed him to dodge most of that. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, okay. That he had a chance to set up a more advanced misdirect there with the level 3, but that's pretty high level stuff at this point. Yeah, that was unfortunately game over. 97.70. That was.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. What happened? Oh, not even in top 10 as well. Very, very, very close to it.
Right, well, that means we can focus on Yumemi a bit more now.
Yes.
At least he just died. He just died again, so that's another reset. Never mind, I jinxed it. I jinxed the pre-recorded attempts.
It looks like you maybe also got like a custom background screen as well. Like I saw like a PC98 team before each loading time. It is 7 minutes before the halfway point of the reset timer.
Yeah, and Yumemi hasn't reached the end game yet, so
yeah,
pretty soon he's going to have to commit to a run, at least to get something on the board.
Yeah,
a run here with Yumemi is probably going to take around like 30 minutes. So he has time for 2 full runs if he commits to this and not resets. At least not much. Like probably by if this credit reaches stage 7, he should probably stay committed to the run, even if it doesn't really get far.
Yeah. Most importantly is to at least try to get a very good cancel reversals, so that you always get like 2 million, 2.5 million just from the number of hit combo alone, which for Yumemi can be very easy to reach in those cases. I mean, it can be a bit complicated, but that's about 20 million worth of scoring just on that alone possible very easily. Oh, yeah, you really decidedly having a very bad time there. Okay, I wonder if it's like team SOEW that's present just before the game starts. In stage 2 for Couscous on his end. Score is about okay. It's difficult to have like decent around stage 1 usually. At least you maybe gets the pain out of the way a lot quicker. Trying to get the very low stage 1. So it's very understandable as to why there can be so many resets earlier. But yeah, I think so. The Canada round earlier was on stage 5, where two lives were lost. So stage 6 could have had a third life loss at that point, which 1 life for 3-4 stages remaining would have been very difficult to deal with, even with Yumemi being used there. It is not easy, even with broken characters and like POV, to just finish the job easily. Yeah.
So, real quick, something to reiterate that was said in the secret chat that is not going to be showing on video, but Yumemi is using RNG manip to make the stage order certain, which is why, he's completely resetting the game. And I don't think this is a case of him not knowing that S plus Q is a quick reset. But unfortunately, it doesn't really help with this category, at least with the 2 easy manips that there are, because you get Kana and Ellen last, who you would preferably get first, because they are going to die early a lot more. And since the later stages are supposed to last longer, that means you're cutting out more of the timer. So you're basically wasting more time that's getting reduced out of the AI dying early. If you got a different opponent, they would not die as quickly because they have higher move speed. So in this case, if Yumemi wanted to use RNG manip, he would have been better off with a more advanced RNG manipulation, which is not really mapped out yet. But you can actually RNG manip by starting a credit as soon as possible, by just on frame 1, and then pause buffer the playfield until you see the very first player shot from the AI on a certain part of the screen, like as a visual cue, so to speak. And if you then reset when you see the shot on a certain part of the screen, and then go through the same process again of just, frame 1 selecting everything in the menus, then you would actually get the same opponents again. Like it would all be predetermined, but that hasn't really been totally figured out yet, what opponents you get when, with what timings. And I personally only mapped out part of it with Reimu, or at least to the point to where I know what stage 1 opponents you get. If you wanted to have, map out all 6 opponents, it would take a very long time to do that kind of manual labor. So I don't know if that's maybe something that with reverse engineering efforts could be like mapped out a lot quicker.
And kind of the worst aspect for Couscous is to have to always fight a stronger Reimu as well, and much stronger Reimu opponent on his end. So he has to wait a lot longer before fighting the one bulldozer, unlike Yumemi. But Yumemi on his end mostly got a lot of bad luck with the later stages to die once early on, and maybe also be a bit behind in score with not having necessarily decent clear bonus every time because of the early kill that can happen.
Yeah, Yumei is I do know is probably a bit at a disadvantage, not just because of the character that he's playing, but I think also that he's a less patient of a player, and also doesn't pick up on certain things quite as quickly. I think Couscous evolved his scores a lot quicker, and I think Couscous got a PB recently, which I think he got after this match, unless I'm wrong. I mean, we'll see. But Yumemi's PB, I believe, is like mid 90 mil, I think, which is with Yumemi, which is a fairly good score, but it's also important to keep in mind that because it's such a luck-based shot, and because everything dies so quick, it makes it a little bit less significant to see a really big score with her, it's easier to get a pretty good score with her because she's easier to survive with, and all it really takes is to get, a couple of really lucky rounds, and then your score is gonna look really good. I believe the world record, even in 2013 or 2014, was 107 million. So like back then, the record was already really good. but that was actually mainly because of really good luck. Although it is a world record that doesn't have a video, because back then PC98 score runs weren't recorded that much. I think also because a lot of people just couldn't really do it with the hardware. Like, I remember that with Zil, this was definitely the case. He held that 107 mil record, and he probably held every world record at one point, because he was really the only one who was actively playing this game. But I do remember at the time his 107 mil UME was one of his strongest scores, and it was also one of the oldest ones to get beaten eventually. I believe I beat it with 109.
This was still in the Paleozoic era of PC98 gaming. There are a lot more, many more players that are participating. It's very nice to see the PC98 scene much more active with alongside the RTF event as well. But has encouraged a lot more players to come in.
Yeah, I'm very happy with how things are turning out. I think this event is doing a very good job getting more players in. And now also recently with Christian developing a replay patch for this game, which also is going to make it a lot easier to play this game, because it also comes with a built-in auto-fire. And back when I started playing these games in 2014, there were people who were scoring the games, but it was like fairly casual, and that was also like around 2012, 2013 mostly. By the time I started, most people kind of didn't play any of the PC98 games, bar a few people. Like Zil especially was very active with this particular game still, until around like 2018, 19. But he always had problems recording this game. It would always have to end up being blurry, or the game would just slow down too much to the point to where he couldn't really record. But there isn't really a hard rule for slowdown in this game, but you can kind of reasonably assume when a run has so much slowdown to the point to where it gives you a big advantage. Maybe that's eventually going to be a problem we have to solve. Like, what kind of standards are we supposed to have? I don't know if that can maybe be rectified with a patch, but
Another reset for Yumimi there. Kus doing pretty well, and then the survival.
yeah, he probably needs to not be resetting as much and maybe played a bit safer. I think he's being too greedy at this point with his play. Like, in general, I would suggest to not go super hard on your first credit, so you can at least have a score on the board.
He's so sad.
There's a very, very high scoring Skana round again from Couscous here.
Yeah, though my short attempts with me, I did have like a couple 6.5, 6.6 million during the early stages, but 7.8, that's excellent.
Yeah. For any given round, you want to see a lot of those 655,000 spell points that you can see pop up on the screen. The yellow number in the top left corner. Like, in terms of scoring, the one thing you want to be looking out for is that number that pops up, because that's what triggers spells, and that's what also gets directly added to your score once the number disappears. And also when it maxes out, it's forced to cancel out.
Getting bodied by Rekako is a very difficult one to have. Boss was also not very compliant. Usually the boss can send a lot of pellets. Because we're actually doing a very good preparation for a big cancel with a level 1 there, but unfortunately the boss did use the wrong attack for this. Like the only one that did not matter at all for this particular situation. We do say that max SP is 655k, but in reality there's a lot more that's... Oh wow, that's nice dodger. There's a lot more that goes in the background really, because there's the 655k alone, but just have all of the bosses that can be spawned through it, depending on if you spawn multiple bosses are getting cancelled, and also the 300k panic, that is also sent as well. But it is also unique, only once at 300k, and then you have to reset the combo, then go back to 300k to be able to send back the panic again. Unlike the bosses, this one can only be done once per combo. But yeah, 655k is more equivalent to maybe something like 1.5 million every time this happens, 1.2 maybe, because of all the bonuses that are added later on at the end of the stage, in the clear bonus.
Boss panics are kind of weird because whenever you get the requirements to summon a boss, but you get 300k instantly, then that will actually the boss attack will actually take priority, and after that you have to get the panic afterwards by basically chaining anything around 1 second later. Because that's just the game, how the game summons things. It's always it generally has to be one thing at a time, like within any given second, basically. And that's also how you can trigger boss cancels, which can be good or bad for score depending on the specific situation. Which is where you trigger a boss attack or a boss reversal, but then immediately after you trigger a level 2. Then the level 2 will take priority, but the spell point requirements from the boss summon that technically got cancelled out, it still increases. So afterwards, you would have to keep chaining right afterwards to summon another boss right away. But you do need to actually have the requirements for that. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, because you could also fail to summon a boss afterwards, and then you have a harder boss requirement to deal with.
Something that can also happen when a panic attack is sent out. If the character that sends the panic attack then sends a level 2, there can be a phenomenon of bullet transmutation that can happen, in which the level 3 bullets will become level 2s. So sometimes, kind of rare, you can see that a Kotorime level 3 will spawn a few seconds ago from the panic attack, when the level 2 is sent, and those bullets from the level 3 will actually come out as the level 2s in the end. Or part of it.
Kotime's spell is the only one in the game that can have multiple of them on screen at a time. With every other spell, or a level 2 or 3, there can only be one on screen at a time. So if a level 2 was on screen at the moment and a boss gets summoned or a level 3 gets summoned, then the level 2 would be forced to end. Okay, Kuskus is also approaching the mid to end game again with Mima here, so he is at least getting some credits going, and he's also not resetting despite the fact that he did die early. He did lose a life. I think that is also kind of what sets him apart right now with Yumemi here. Yumemi is resetting a lot quicker, which is making the situation more dire for him.
I kind of know that the situation is very complicated because the reset timer is pretty short, so he has to make some choices to move on and see if he can clear a credit and get a fairly high score. Which for the 3097 was pretty nice.
It's also that if you reset so many times, at some point you have to, bite the bullet and just get a run, to the end. Even if it's not going to score as much, because on the other hand, you could also not get a run at all, and that would be even worse. It's kind of just a sunk cost fallacy. Do you want to commit to resetting the whole time, or are you going to take a bit of a loss just so you can finish a run?
You
can definitely see that he is playing impatiently because he's being very greedy, but in a way that doesn't actually help him. So he's taking a lot of hits unnecessarily.
Ooh, yeah. And yeah, because of this, no gauge to get the hyper there.
This can be a very mentally rough game because this game is very intense right from the start, as we mentioned earlier. So you don't really get to rest, especially when it's a match like this where there's time. You have a timer on your feet. You kind of have to just keep going.
Yeah, when I tried to do my score attempt, I did reach like 3 times the final stage, but only on the third or fourth attempt was I able to clear the game. And it was not even a great score in the end.
Yeah, especially when you're starting out, it's really hard to even reach the end game at all, because like I do remember when I was starting Lunatic, at that point I already played the game for like a year for score, but it was lower difficulty. But once I started Lunatic, it took like several months before I even got 1cc, because the game just beats you up so hard right from the beginning. And it really is a completely different game, even though mechanically nothing is really different. The jump from hard on Lunatic, especially with this game, is fairly high.
Oh, let's HP
and
again.
Also the bullet speed of some patterns is way harder on Lunatic, especially two of Yumami's patterns, the swirl pattern and the Death Cloud pattern. Because the Death Cloud pattern, while it's slower, it's still going to be and it's still going to be the same density because it's based on rank exclusively. It does give you more room to kind of know where to go, or whether to bomb or whatever. And with the swirl, there will actually be openings in the swirl, like right at the bottom of the screen, because of how the bullets move in terms of speed. But on Lunatic, it basically becomes a thin wall of bullets by the time it reaches the bottom of the screen, unless Yumami is very high on the screen. So that immediately makes it way more dangerous, even though the density is exactly the same, which is not something that seems intuitive. You would think it's actually denser, but it's actually not.
It's mostly that the speed works a bit differently compared to her, and usually at these points, there's like 2 different kind of speed that will meet up at the very end. So you do have like a little wall to dodge.
Yeah, the wall basically, the bullets basically converge lower on the screen when the bullets go faster. So the wall just goes lower and lower on the screen the higher in difficulty you go up. And generally on easy and normal, it's a lot easier to dodge because you can just follow a lane, kind of in a similar way as you would do on Shinki's opener pattern in Mystic Square. In that game, the swirl pattern is a lot more forgiving.
And only 30 minutes remains in the reset timer.
Yeah, I believe at this point Yumami can only finish 1 run.
Yeah, finishing under 30 minutes for any character is pretty much impossible on Lunatic. Even Yumami. Maybe like could go for 35 minutes, but 30 minutes is very complicated.
Yeah, and also if it did last shorter than 30 minutes, it would be not very high scoring, because shorter matches just means less score. But yeah, like I can see that Yumami is playing on frustrated mode, where he isn't really focused well enough to not make silly mistakes, because that's now what kind of is happening. Couscous, meanwhile, is he is on stage 7, and he entered stage 7 with already 2 deaths. So even though this is, not looking good from a clear perspective, he's at least getting to the end game this way. It's just like a different perspective that he has on the game, where he doesn't beat himself up on these kinds of mistakes.
Yeah, and he's at like 67 billion starting the stage, so it's already on, I think, a kind of a similar pace to what was present in the very first run. But now he needs to round 1 Reimu to be safe, and instead of being on the round 3. But thankfully the bombs are both used on her side and already taking a hit, so this could be something decent. Like at least at 17.
Couscous also took an extra hit, so he has 2 hits just like Reimu. Or well, now Reimu has 1. So okay, and he also got smothered by the lines of enemies there. That formation can't actually kill her if there wasn't a boss on screen, because the way the AI focuses on what to shoot is based on whether there's a boss on screen or not. If a boss is on screen, they will exclusively focus on shooting the boss. So they will always try to like move under the boss, and they will essentially ignore the enemy formations, unless of course they get so close that they have to sidestep it. But because there were 2 lines of enemies that were sandwiching her, the AI doesn't really know how to deal with that. So they basically just get hit, and that's kind of how early hits can happen a lot.
Yeah, you can hear a little bit the frustration for on Yumebi's side as well.
Also saw that Couscous was trying to use invincibility frames on the level 1 to get through the laser, but he mistimed it, so he took a hit.
If the lasers are pretty thin, they do arrive late, so there's a lot of time to be able to reposition, but was a little bit too quick to move there. Could have been dodgeable that charger 3 against Inchiri, but it's a little bit complicated. I think he's using he's beginning to use a lot more level 1s. Just trying to set up like an instant combo for like a potential good spawn. Thankfully, on Lunatic, the wave, the sine wave formations, and the going circle formations appear fairly quickly enough that they are not too problematic for continuing an SP hit combo there. It's much less likely that there will be causing something like this. Oh, could it actually dodge this? Going like for one tight left-right dodging there without having to use could have conserved the bomb and
premature hyper there.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing it very safe with when to use hypers or bombs here.
But when is it safe against Yuri? Never. Oh yeah. Oh boy. Oh, we got the sequel
now it's anything but safe. Okay. Well, the spell cut-ins are actually helping him. That is one thing that if boss summons happen, that can be a very good way for you to reposition yourself or plan out your movements much better. You can also use them yourself, but it is a pretty big risk. Also, nice save spot, dude. That was so risky.
Yeah. Couscous just knows all the safe spot on this. Like second time.
Couscous is the type of player that takes a lot of risks that I would never take. Because he seems to also, on the last UMME round, he seems to play very aggressive with spell use, even if he's on his last hit sometimes. Which just makes me like, please stop, you're gonna die.
Yeah, and the bad thing that also happened earlier is that because he uses so much level 1s, it causes another problem where the spell gauge doesn't get as much lifted as he would think about it. So earlier he'd use a level 1 while there was a level 2 Yumimi that was going on. And he did cancel a lot of bullets, but because of the level 1 that was used, he was not able to recover the full gauge pay for the other hyper afterward. Very tight one. I think, yeah, this is like the ending. It could have been maybe dodgeable a little bit more, but very close. 76 million.
Yeah, you don't want to just like spam level 1s. Like you always have to kind of look at, when did a level 1 make sense to use and when did it not. Generally, when a boss is on screen, especially a boss like Chiri, using level 1s is just spamming them is definitely something I would do, because you kind of want to assume that pellet patterns are going to be fired. But even in such situations, if you see like a good formation, like let's say the upside down pyramid, and Chiri is in the middle of the screen, then you might as well just shoot the normal way and then hope that the reflections or the explosions catch a bunch of pellet bullets, if she does the right pattern.
Yeah, especially when in this fight configuration, Mima versus Chiri, you have like I think you actually have more than 50% chance to actually get a spawn pattern from any bosses to spawn some cancelable bullets.
Yeah, Chiri has only one attack that does not produce pellets, which I think might also be her most common, but it's like the singular ring of level 3 bullets, basically. Every other pattern does produce pellets, which is... Oh god! Oh god!
Nice one. Okay, got the gauge in time, but still another hit left.
Those lasers despawn just in the right time. Of course, he still got hit, but... I mean, this was like an extremely nerve-wracking situation. I could easily still gotten hit in that situation. Oh, yeah, that was... I could see that was also going to be bad with how those lasers were positioning. It's bad when there's like a ton of them that just spawn all at once. And there he probably tried to say spotted, but just don't do it. It's too risky. Unless he has like a method of doing it that is consistent, but...
Well, he got it twice, so who knows, maybe.
Yeah, like if it's the starting position from like if it's the first appearance of the boss and it's the first attack, then you can definitely look for safe spots at the bottom of the screen by looking at your gauge, or just going in the corner, because that's also a safe spot. But like if she's at a different position, I would not try to safe spot any of this. And also, most of the time you can't really do it anyway, because there's other bullets that are coming your way, or enemy formations that get in the way, etc. There's always going to be something that could get in your way, which is what makes most boss patterns in combination with a level 2 or 3 so dangerous. It's one thing knowing how to dodge a certain boss pattern or something, but when you have something else on top of that, well, then what you do? Of course, there are solutions to certain pattern combinations, but you're never going to be ready for everything.
Taking a bunch more safety there. Using the hyper. It's a bit difficult to clear.
Because this is a kind of rough spot to even get a PB here, or a score updates.
Yeah.
He needs to get more than 97.7 mil. No, that was a game over. He still has time to get another credit going. I think once he gets to like stage 7 again, then he is probably going to be committed to that run. So also Yumami is a little bit out of the early game now. Hopefully he keeps it that way.
Maybe he's on
he definitely needs to have a different strategy on how to spend his resources here. and be more concentrated on actually clearing and
okay.
not being too greedy. He doesn't need a very high Yumemi score here. 82.3 mil is something you can achieve fairly consistently without needing, even just average luck, really.
Stage 5, 33.
It's mostly going to come down to his survival.
Yeah, so about 8 million average so far. Clearing stage 4 with more than 32 million there. It's very, very nice for a UME scoring.
Very good charge attack from Couscous to get a massive cloud of fireballs reflected. That is something that any character's charge attack can do, even the worst ones, because all that matters is that you kill something that produces an explosion. As long as you get that explosion, then you're basically set with getting a massive reflection. Even really bad characters like Ellen or Rikako can still make that happen. Even if, overall, those characters' charge attacks are fairly bad.
Yeah. Like Rikako and both better when it's the bosses that is around. Doing some fine work so far. 2 million from the stage already from this. Missing a lot on the column. A bit too far in the corner, sadly. Still with 2 bombs. Yumin did take 3 hits in a row at the very start of the round. Okay. 2 hits left for Kana, maybe actually 3. Although it's still like mid-game, so it could still be like only 2 hits at that point. Okay, bomb there to dodge that attack. Always a bit tough when there's like nothing to cancel around. Ooh. Oh, Kana again is very strong today. It's like the third KO for Yuri against Kana in this in those runs. Very unfortunate. I think that round could have been like 3-4 million as well, drawn fairly easily. Oh, getting a nice cancel on the wave pattern that was spawning in with the sideways hard spawns. Was very lucky to have that at that time. Oh, unless it again? Oh no, that's very scary. Okay,
Not
one bomb
using his
used.
bombs. Yeah, he's not doing. He was kind of not doing enough like micro movements to line himself up to dodge those straight down moving bullets. Because Kana is not really a hard opponent to deal with in terms of dodging stuff. And he got cross attacked. Yumeme's cross attack pattern is basically the most common way for the AI to get hit, because they don't have any foresight. The only thing they care about is just going under the boss and shooting them. And because of how they move, they can very easily get trapped by crosses that basically, end up spawning on top of them. Because they just sandwich themselves in between 2 or 3 of them, and then
Yeah, they've a much better.
they usually get hit.
They've a much better.
Right there, you can also LNC get hit from an expanding EX attack, because the lower side of the cross expands faster, and since Ellen moves so slow, she just got hit. And there is another one. Yumemi is just really powerful against this poor. Oh yeah, that is gonna be.
There's a Riper, so that's okay.
It is really funny to see the AI just get like frame perfectly stuck in between crosses with no ability to move.
Yeah. Okay, thinking the hyper there just in case. No.
好忙噶。
Those clear are not going very high,
46
unfortunately
million.
there. It's still
This
more than
sucks.
8 million average at the very least, I think. Oh no, stage 8. Oh no, we are a bit less than 8
Okay.
million. But Rikako is a very strong opponent with a boss, which can give a whole lot very quickly as well. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, for sure, at the end of the round, it is almost guaranteed that you get the 2.5 million bonus on the hit counter there. If you're facing the boss or if you use the spell gauge there. And because they have a boss that can spawn, you can get a very high combo very quickly too. With that.
It's a bit of a scary dodge on the Rikako level 2 there. He did use the invincibility frames. I don't know if that necessarily mattered in the end, but usually you want to try to attack that or dodge that attack from the middle of the screen. It's easier to dodge that way, unless you're on the edge of the side of the screen, and then you make a big macro movement to the side to widen the gaps of the bullets on Rikako's attack there. Rikako is a fairly lucrative opponent to score against, unlike, you know, if you play Acer, then she suddenly can score for crap. But she does have some very good LS patterns, although the one that's most effective is this attack right here that you just saw, where she spawns a bunch of EX attacks and then it's a burst of pellet bullets. That can be very difficult to actually reflect, and generally using a charge attack like Yumemi just did there is the most reliable way to do it.
Almost 50 million there.
He has to be careful now.
That's it.
I would just play survival at this point, not take risks. But he's using a level 2. He's putting himself in a dangerous spot now. Hopefully this RNG is good. Okay.
He got very lucky as well that the referee got cancelled mid spawn as well, because the max level level 3 for Rikako will always finish with a targeted attack onto you directly. And it's also
if
very
Rikako doesn't hyper, he might win here.
This could
Okay,
be very
hopefully
close.
Rikako doesn't hyper. It's kind of a little bit 50-50 whether she does or not. Basically, if she is, if her timer demands her to get hit, then it's fairly likely she won't hyper. But if her timer demands her to not get hit yet, then she will hyper.
Yep.
But it looks like her timer never got to that point before Yumei just died there, unfortunately.
It was a
He is still in a decent spot to get the score update he needs, though.
Just that the next few rounds will be very, very difficult.
Yeah, it does come down to how well these rounds are gonna go.
Yeah, because as mentioned earlier, since the length does not reset, any level 2s or level 3s that spawns from Rikako will be max level already.
He's playing too risky. He's taking too many hits. He was also not placing his charge attacks that well, so the attacks would often just not even do damage.
Luckily for him, that wave did not get thrown back. Okay, second bomb for for Kako there, spawning the crowd. Cool, that's an inhibited bomb there, no cancels available.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, those fireballs were kind of on top of the enemies. It was a little bit iffy if that could get reflected, but he did.
Still got it though.
He needs to bomb this. Oh, that was lucky.
Yeah.
I would not have tried to no bomb that. That was too risky.
Okay, I did bomb there because of the minefield.
It's not good though, because Rikako is not getting hit.
You needed to keep for the hyper.
It did go to the middle of the screen, so it was harder to dodge.
I have some strong reason
I-
that this will not clear there. That's very difficult.
Yeah, that death was very costly. That probably cost him the match.
Okay, hyper there for for Couscous because of that max level there. Couscous being a lot more safer in comparison.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, generally, it's not really worth taking these risks at any point in the game if it means you're going to either have a very premature game over or no run at all, really.
Oh, I lost it again. It's really rough. We got the 2 bombs
Yeah,
though, but
he's losing his focus.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
he's also not dodging this correctly. He's making too many mistakes that really he should not be making. But yeah, it's absolutely over now. I mean, he would have to like one round the rest of the game. But given how he's been playing, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, this will most likely game over if Likako is passed on Fury. And even play safe though, for those few rounds are not that easy even on survival. Even with Yumemi.
Yeah, unlike in POV, in broken shots in this game are not actually that easy to clear with, because the AI in this game has bombs and hypers that they will always use to avoid an unintentional hit. It's not like POV where the AI can just die in 1 minute, because they don't really have the same defensive options that they do in this game. In this game, the AI is, in the most extreme of circumstances, guaranteed to survive at least 20 seconds, 25.
That's it.
But and realistically, they will survive for like 1 to 1.5 minutes at least. And of course, that would still be way shorter than what their timers are, especially at this point in the game.
Okay.
Like, the round 4 timer for this is probably like probably just over 2 minutes if I had to guess, but I don't think we've really determined that. Yeah, unfortunate.
58
I kind of felt like the writing was on the wall for him already, like an hour before. He's technically can still get a credit in because of this premature game over. But I do not have a lot of faith in this set of runs.
Yeah,
And
5
Couscous
minutes.
could also still improve his score. Currently, Kotime is bullying him though, so he might not be able to. He might take a death here.
Yeah, he's on hyper, she still has all the HP. This will most likely be a miss.
Oh yeah, he got cornered by the level 3. He was doing kind of well, but these EX attacks and Kotihime's level 2s and 3s are very dangerous because they are very focused on micro dodging, which is not something that most characters can really do well in this game, because there's only one. You only have one move speed. This is not like any game that came after this, where you have focus speed, where you can move your character slower.
Oh my god. 5 minutes.
Another reset, 4 minutes remaining.
Oh,
Yep, 4 minutes left.
That's like 2 attempts.
Couscous still has a little bit of time to decide a reset, considering he died on Kotime, and Kotime is not a really good opponent to die on, not just because she's a very hard opponent, but also because she doesn't score very well.
Yeah, you would need to have the level 2 spawning at some point to just score very high. And the boss only has one pellet attack as well, which is not too dense either, so getting some boss revenge reversals is also very, very difficult to do. You maybe already 2 reds in there on the round, 1 bomb remaining. Not quite the gauge for Hyper, or yeah, definitely not. Missing the bomb timing there. I think Yumimi does have like a higher delay when being bigger to chain another level 1 again. So it makes it a bit more penalizing when this happens. Usually, if you want to be a bit tricky with the oh, it's over almost. Okay, now using the bomb this time. If you want to semi-play safe but still want to score, you want to make sure that whenever you use your level 2, you are able to almost instantly gain your gauge back, which for you maybe in Mima's case it was questionable. In this case, it can be done fairly easily to have it as long as you keep around the hit counter going on.
Oh no, he failed to reflect those fireballs because he couldn't kill those enemies quickly enough. I don't actually know if he plays with. I assume he doesn't play with auto fire.
No, if they don't play with auto fire, none of them.
No.
Okay,
I forgot if Kuskus did. I think he does.
7.3 million clear bonus on second round. That's very nice.
Yeah, so he did make up for that death on Kotahime by getting a really good Kotahime round. Kotahime survived for probably the full timer because that did take quite a while.
Yeah, this is
so he is now in stage 7, and he can definitely still update his score. Like he's definitely the kind of player who could get 100 million this match.
Yeah, this is something that is more used in lower difficulties because the difference between the low rank and the high rank in the lower difficulties is much higher. So suiciding on earlier stages is much more useful there because you can get a lot stronger stages and a lot stronger clear bonus because of this. While in Lunatic it does not make as much of a difference early on. You'd rather want to keep this for stage 8 or stage 9. Performs used there. It's against streamers, so it will be very difficult.
Both players are going to be committed to their final run very soon here. Just 25 seconds left on the timer. Yeah, and Yumemi is now committed to the run because this is stage 1 clear with 7.8 million. That is definitely good enough to keep going with, considering how luck-based she is. So it's going to be the final run for these two players in 3, 2, 1, 0.
Final run, or time up, I guess. That's the way to say final run. Alright, so at least Yumemi is out of stage 1. That's very good. No miss as well, so that's nice. Okay, dodging through the...
He stayed very close to those enemies, so if he didn't kill them, he would have gotten blindsided by those fireballs. Yeah, you generally want to keep your distance from enemies if you can, so you can still be able to see what's coming, even if you fail to reflect something. You only want to stay close to enemies if you're doing that to Doppler shoot, so where you're low on the screen and you move up, so the DPS is slightly increased. for a brief moment of time, just so you can kill something just barely in time to reflect something. It's a very common thing that you need to do in this game. Mima charging her gauge, so that level 2 didn't really do anything. The worst feeling is if you use a level 2 and then the AI just bombs immediately. It's like, wow, thank you. Thank you for wasting my level 2. Also gotta love it when the AI just gets hit a bunch of times, or, you know, bombs right at the start of a round, and you're just like, well, I guess this round is going to be bad.
Well, that's
Especially with a broken shot, you can expect that to happen quite a lot. You will see the AI take hits very quickly, or well, they can. Like it's not like that happens every round or anything. If you're lucky enough, the round could last as long as the timer wants them to, but usually they won't. Usually they will make at least 1 or 2 premature mistakes.
Mima strongly agreeing with that statement as well.
Yeah, Cuscus can take it easy now because time is up and he can't reset anymore, so he can take a little bit of a breather to you know, prepare for the final 2 stages here.
You maybe starting with like a bit of lower average, 6 million per stage compared to the 7 to 8 million we had earlier. Hopefully the next few stages will be a bit more rewarding. I thought he got it, but I guess not. No, yes.
For him, the most important focus is going to be actually winning these rounds. You do still want to time your level 2s, but probably be a bit more strategic with using them instead of using it at every opportunity, especially if he starts taking hits early. This first early hit is okay because, oh yeah, he did not prepare for that attack. He just went to the corner without really any strategy behind it. So that was fairly likely going to be a hit. And also he tried to use invincibility frames to get through that attack, but you can't actually do that. That was a very unnecessary mistake.
Yeah, we only have like 4 frames of movement before for this. It's like very insignificant compared to.
There's also 2 waves of that level 3, so it's not like it's a one singular wave that you can invincibility frame your way through, so to speak.
Yeah, like
It's
the
2
first,
ways, so that would work anyway.
Yeah, and the initial spawns of this are pretty much handleable to do. You just recognize which ones are the straightforward lanes and which one are the curvy, the more spiral patterns there that are more difficult to dodge. But we are already back on Chi. No missing on Remo, so it's very good, very promising.
Yeah, getting past Raymond the first round is very good. It's a very dangerous opponent to get past. And there are multiple characters that have to fight her, unlike every other Stage 7 opponent you can get. There are multiple characters that have to face Reimu in Stage 7.
So something weird that happened with Yumimi is that during the hyper, Yumimi kept shooting, but it's one of those characters where you can just control the shooting and still keep some very strong combos going on with the hyper stay going on. So I'm not too sure what he went for at that time.
Yeah, it's basically just the basic. It's basically just a basic stronger shot. It's just like a really wide basic shot. With Mima here, Cuscus has to deal with an auto fire, so he can either use it to basically melt a boss in like a few seconds, or he needs to be strategic with what enemies he hits. So like these formations once they're in the process of being chained, if he can, he needs to avoid hitting them all the time, so you get at least some spell points out of them. It's not strictly necessary because you don't really get gauge regardless while a hyper is active.
Yeah, I think the center of the screen was there. Oh, what happened with? Okay, I guess it was a forfeit. Yumitsu sided, I think, on that wave. So it is game over for Yomemi. So stopping at 59.28 million, Couscous will be qualified for the third edition of PODD Lunatic scoring by default.
But he could
So
still put up a show for us and play really risky on these final stages, like I know he likes to do sometimes.
Yeah, well, the on second round in, hopefully can clear the second round, and it will be very difficult to update though, because 97 million, more than 20 million to cover through one extent. It is doable, but you need some very strong ground. At least two of them have to be very strong to do so. And also Yumi is not kind. Okay, very preemptive hyper. I think I may have missed some balls, but I think it was still survivable without that. Okay, so yeah, Couscous is hitting much more. His other one as preemptive shots there. He's also trying. That was a very good function, but sadly a little bit early there. Okay, we got the transfer.
Pretty good formation there in combination with the attack, because there's 4 different spawn points on that attack that are fairly far apart from each other, so it's fairly easy to reflect with a wide formation like that. Also, this is a level 2 that's really good because you can manipulate where these bullets move, and it's also very long-lasting. Also, I think he was 1 pixel away from a hyper, so I think he could not survive that.
Yeah, I think
it's kind of hard to tell, but I think, yeah.
Going up may have been safe. I think there was a couple of pixels available to go up and still not touch that laser before despawning like 0.5 seconds later and getting the hyper there.
Yeah, of course it's easy to overshoot your movements, so you could also just run into the laser.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, you kind of have to move because the cheery spells are just going to be aimed at you, so you always have to move.
Okay, I did not see we had another extra round available, so there's still potential here for update there. Couscous could very likely finish up with 85 million plus GRE this round and still able to gain like a couple 10-15 million later on and still reach like 100 million by the end.
For a second I was like, wait, is he stalling? Because he was not shooting for a while, not charging.
I think he really wants to make sure that the formations that he gets are able to just instantly recover the next base. Okay, he did see the bullet spawning at the end.
Yeah, that fireball might have hit him, so that was a good bomb.
Yeah, charging level 1 may have saved, but it would be very close if it was possible.
Cheery is being fairly nice with using level 2s. Like, at least this is a boss that naturally already has a lot of score potential just by, you know, playing against her. But there's also opponents like, say, Kotehime, for example, who doesn't produce a lot of pellet patterns with her boss. Then you kind of have to rely on either her spamming a bunch of level 2s, or you have to rely on, you know, basically what Mima herself can do with her boss. Because Mima's boss is actually fairly aggressive with pellet patterns, which makes her one of the highest scoring characters in the game. And I would even argue that for lower difficulties, like easy and normal, she might even be the best. Because in the early game, the rank is much lower, and Cheery's level 2 is really bad at low rank. But Mima's is actually way better on the low rank values.
Yeah, and at the lower level, one of the Chiori's boss attack does not spawn pellets. The one that spawns both level 3 and level 2 and then pellets will only spawn the level 3 bullets in the initial banks.
That pellet got really close. This is the really fast rogue pellet that just went right past Couscous there.
87
You can
points.
very easily get sniped by random fast bullets like that, but he was lucky. Of course, Yumemi died soon afterwards anyway, and Couscous had 2 hits left. So yeah, Couscous is having a fairly good chance to update his score, even if this game overs, by the way. If he clears, he's definitely gonna get 100 million.
For sure. Based on very high hopes there. Okay, maybe don't use level 130. Okay.
That first hit is okay. The maximum damage that you take at any point is... Oh, that was a bit of a risk. Yeah, the most amount of damage you take is 3 hearts, and since his first hit took him to 4, the next hit was always going to bring him to 1 heart. Cuz what are you doing? Don't get nervous now.
Don't go to the right. Don't do this.
Yeah, that enemy formation was about to ram him too, because of how it moves.
Nice.
Okay, because just play it safe. It's not worth it to just score now. Just if you survive a long time, that will give you more score. Don't make silly mistakes now.
Okay, that's nice.
Oh no! Yeah, bomb that.
But also because
He was in an awkward spot, so he couldn't really read where the safe spots were on that level 3.
yeah, if you were to release level 1 before using
this
the
looks
bomb,
really good.
it might have been cooked.
Very nice, very nice. He got a really good formation in combination with a level 2 that Yumemi is charging.
Okay, short boss as well. That's okay. Full charge to possibly update. Little more. I don't think he'll be using more charges at that point. Okay.
I mean, considering that he got to the last hit so fast, it's very unlikely that Yumemi is going to die here.
Yeah.
Oh my god! He should have killed Yumemi there. Like there is technically a play you can do here by deliberately not killing Yumemi and hoping that she does a pellet producing pattern, so you can get a bunch of spell points that way. Which is kind of a risk, but like the way that you're supposed to do it is not kill her when you still have a lot of time on the hyper left, but once you get close to the hyper ending, then you should kill her, regardless of what happens. But he did not really do that, so he ended up in a really bad situation, and then he got the Death Cloud pattern.
Yeah,
and that, in this case, sealed his fate for that round.
Yeah, now he's overusing his level 1, which is not great for the charger. But he used the 2 bombs that this will not clear. There's a very low chance that this clears. Again, how it happens, you see, he still has a bomb, no hits yet as well. And the round is very long. Okay, no more bomb, but still very difficult to get some hits.
Yeah, I believe the timer on round 2 here is 5 minutes and 20 seconds. It's very, very long amount of time he has to survive. But it is doable.
Okay, if you face off at level 2 or level 3, you only have to move once. Don't move twice. It is more unintended risk.
Okay, this is getting dangerous now. And use the invincibility frames. Oh no, he moved the wrong way. You still have to pay attention to where the swirl is going. Otherwise, you can have that happen where you're moving into a line of bullets. You still need to look at where the lines of bullets are, so you know which way to move after your invincibility frames run out. He did go through the wall, but then he ended up getting hits afterwards. Oh yeah, this looks like a disaster. Oh.
Nice.
I think he didn't even iframe through that. I think that was just like I think the invincibility frames activated after he already went through the wall.
Okay.
He's just YOLOing at this point.
Yeah. Okay, needs to be
Viper,
careful
Viper.
there. Okay. Preemptive Viper. Nice one. You still on 2 hits remaining there.
Yeah, Yumimi has to be very cooperative now. Yeah, he kind of had to stay down because there were crosses in the way and his hyper was about to run out. No, unfortunate. No, Yumimi really bullied. And well, to be fair, also on the first round, Kuskus kind of messed up too much. He made a lot of silly mistakes.
He went very risky as well on that final round as well, trying to go for an extra level 2 scent, but did not get any counter from you may be back to get close to that hyper quicker.
Well,
If that the game is over.
The results are in then. Couscous qualifies 97.70 with 3399. Umemi loses with 59.28, 1268. That was an 8 right for Umemi.
It was 8, yeah.
Oh, rough. Yeah. Couscous advances. Well, Couscous is in chat right now. Let me see if I can give him, very briefly give him the role to speak. Where is it? Can I server unmute him? Let's just do the thing we did last time where we go to the other channel. There he is. Now he's muted because he wants to be. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I'm just muted by default, I think.
Oh, how was it?
I'm pretty glad because over how I played. Like, I definitely did much better than last year, that's for sure. But like, yeah, for this qualifier, I decided to just play much safer than I usually do and just take worse early games and reset less than I usually do. And I mean, for me, like that first script didn't have. Like, the first stages weren't too good, but I still managed to get out 97 in the end, which is pretty satisfying for me. I'm kind of sad
you were losing a bunch of lives on the early game and still going, so we could definitely see you committing to runs a lot more. And,
so I was kind of like, my late games were pretty underwhelming, I feel, especially in that like 94 at the end. Like that, you remember first run was just embarrassing. I was just finding the only pixels on the screen that I get hit. It was just, but to be fair, there was also a bunch of bullying, so that's a given, unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes that can happen where you just get hit by the most random bullets that should not really be a threat to you. Like earlier, I think during the Cheery round, you also almost got hit by a random pellet bullet right before Cheery was about to die.
You reminded me when you mentioned Shiri that there was also this one round I was pretty bummed over where I like died while being 1 pixel away from having a hyper. Like, I distinctly remember I was just mashing the hell out of X and I just didn't activate anything because I think I only got full bar after I died. So
yeah, we saw that happened also close to the end.
I also saw it. Because it happened after I came back to the VC temporarily.
Yeah, that is pretty common. It's just really sad when it happens, and yeah, you're just trying in vain that pressing X hard enough gets you the hyper, but it just doesn't come because the chain reactions don't come in time.
Yeah, I also wanted to say congrats to you, Memi. I think they did well. It's a bit unfortunate that they lost, but I do think, from what I've seen, their PB would actually be able to beat my run, so they were definitely a threat to me, but it seems like, yeah, they were also getting bullied a lot, from what I've seen.
Yeah, we could also see that we was getting visibly frustrated. I think we could even hear him at some points whenever he died or like how much time he had left. and he didn't really get out of the early game. It's one of those, it's one of those times where you kind of get frustrated, and then you kind of take a lot of silly mistakes, and that
I mean,
is
I
definitely
can
what
relate.
happened on Yumemi. Similarly to what happened to you on that last attempt on the first Yumemi round.
Yeah.
This is a very mentally tough game, so you have to really keep your cool and also stay focused, because this game just wants to keep killing you over and over, because the game just is so fast right at the start and it's so intense.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I can say at this point is that I hope I'll be able to do my best at RTF, especially since I think I actually got a bit better since the qualifiers. I've been getting some really good rounds recently, so
you got to,
yeah, I actually, I mean, I've also PB'd after again, which was kind of crazy for me. Like, I didn't expect it to happen so soon. So like, yeah, I hope I'll be able to replicate at least most of that success at the actual tournament, but we'll see about that.
yeah, we hope you are getting your C for both clearing and both for congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations are in. New meme just dropped. Congratulations are in.
Congratulations are in. I mean, were you wrong?
And they are in. So it's a brand new sentence, but I guess it's not very. It's strange, but not strictly incorrect. Oh, congratulations are in, everyone.
I actually have someone else waiting for me, so I can't be sitting around here for too long. In fact, I already think I'm kind of pushing it, so yeah.
All right.
Bye, and thanks for commentating and having me.
Very good then.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, goodbye, Couscous, and goodbye, RTF audience that is watching the RTF 3 qualifiers here through the YouTube channel. Thank you, KC and Pigeon, for your collaborations. Any last words?
Thank you for hosting.
Congratulations are in for you too as well.
Yeah, it was still a good match. Not as close as the previous qualifiers, but I had a feeling that Couscous was going to advance here, because now I can say it. He recently got 113 million with Mima, which is an improvement from his. I think he had 109, and I think he also got 111 sometime in between that point. So he is improving, despite the fact that before he thought that his run was unbeatable. So it's very good to see him improve, and he definitely played better during this qualifier as opposed to last year's Retro Touhou Festival. So we can expect a closer match for this year's Pod Lunatic scoring, the real match. Indeed. So definitely look out for that.
Yeah, very exciting. KC, Christian Azin, Lorenzo finally debuting in an actual match instead of just a commentary role, and now Couscous. Sounds like a pretty close match then. Well,
really excited to see Lorenzo play. Lorenzo is a very, very strong player.
He even got a couple of world records in between as well.
Yeah, this is probably going to be the strongest match ever for RTF. Maybe in general, even.
Definitely. Yeah, the power level of this match is going to be off the charts.
Well, let's go then. It's time for us to end this video. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.